Hey everyone, how are you doing today? Listen, I am bringing you a great either breakfast for dinner, which is amazing, or an amazing, easy way to start your day every single morning. The tip with this, and it's one of my meal prep tips, is that these will sit just fine in the refrigerator, pancakes all day long, and they are so filling. If you don't know me, thank you so much for watching. If you're catching the replay, thank you for watching as well. I am Samantha Rowland, the founder of Bites of Wellness. Bites of Wellness is a place you can go for easy, simple recipes and protein-packed sweets. And that's what one of this is today. These are protein-packed pancakes. You don't need any special mixes or anything like that. A few simple ingredients that I hope that by the end of this I will convince you to just keep in your home at all times. And just easy mix. If you can mix and match and you have the ability to make some pancakes, you are in a good space. So today we are doing the easiest protein pancakes ever, okay? They're not as easy as those ones where you just mash a banana and add an egg. Like whoever decided to do those was like genius, right? But I wanna have a little bit more substance with that because I want you to feel full and like you actually had a meal when you're eating these pancakes, instead of the typical feeling that you get, which is for about an hour you're full, and then after that you're like, oh my God, give me more food, right? And that's because typical pancakes are a combination of usually white flour and usually maybe some butter or something like that, a couple eggs maybe, but they're not really nutrient dense. We talked about nutrient density the other day, which is how much nutrients, which is the micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals per calorie, right? So if there's a lot of vitamins and minerals, like a banana is very nutrient dense. It's got a ton of fiber and vitamins and minerals in it per calorie. So we're gonna try to fill these pancakes with lots of foods that you would consider good for you so that the pancakes are not only delicious, but they're also providing your body with some things that it needs instead of empty calories, which is when I see things like white flour, I think of. It's not really providing you much except for fuel, right? Versus protein and vitamins and minerals and all that stuff instead. So I am mashing 2 bananas up just with the fork. I try not to put mixers or anything like that in my recipes because I want this to be something easy and simple. If you've got kiddos and you want to get them helping you in the kitchen, this is a great job for them. They could actually make most of these pancakes right there with you without much assistance because again, we're not doing anything crazy. I'm using a fork to mash bananas. They could use their little hands if they're clean, right? So bananas have been mashed. I'm gonna add 6 egg whites. Now I know this sounds like a lot. You guys can already see I made a batch earlier. It makes a good amount of pancakes, and nutritionally these are pretty dense. So your kiddos may only need like 1 or 2 to be happy and satisfied. If they're used to getting more, you can make them smaller. That'll be fine. But what I like to do is Dave and I will split them, but I'll also make them ahead of time, throw them in the refrigerator because they sit really well in the refrigerator. I haven't tried to freeze them, but they are really good the next day. If you're on the road, you can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with them, and it's better than any bread, I'm just telling you. So I would definitely suggest, even if it's just you, to make the full recipe and to keep them on hand for another day. In our house, a serving is half of this batch, but we eat really well. I eat a lot of food, guys. So we had legs day today, feeling pretty good. All right, so if you haven't ever gotten the egg whites out the way that I'm doing it here, I'm just cracking them on the side. Quick demo, you're gonna crack it open and try to catch the yolk in one of the sides. So you'll let as much of the egg white go as you can, and then you just kind of toss and the white will come, and then the yolk is there. That's better than using your hands to do it. So just gonna quickly combine all of this. Again, your bananas are mashed, your eggs are already 6 egg whites, 2 bananas. We got this going. You worried about it, Dave? Dave's like, my pancakes, they're gonna burn. They won't burn, it's fine. So I'm gonna do 2 big scoops of vanilla protein powder. Now this is not whey protein. This is just a regular vegetable-based protein. It's actually pea protein. It's super easy on your digestive system. I get mine at Vitacost. It's about $15 or $16 for this container, and it's what I use for baking. That or I'll use Vega as well, but we're using Vitacost today just because it is what I have on hand today. So 2 scoops of vegan protein. Again, I have not tried this with whey protein. I know whey acts really different, so I can't give you tips on that. I apologize. Coconut flour. So this is another thing I think everybody should have on hand. It's relatively inexpensive. It's super filling. It's one of those, again, nutrient dense foods. A little bit goes a long way, so we only need 2 tablespoons of this coconut flour. So you guys can see, that's easy enough. I'm going to just sprinkle in some cinnamon because cinnamon is delicious. And we're going to do a little bit of baking powder, just a teaspoon, so that they will rise. And then I will flip these pancakes so that Dave does not have a fit. Pancakes are important. All right, guys. So just stir that up, and then you're going to use, did I have a flipper out? I didn't. All right, so we're just going to stir that up, and then you can use just a spoon to make whatever size pancakes you want. These have been cooking for pretty much as long as we've been on Facebook Live, so check the time. I don't know, 5 minutes maybe. I'm really bad at estimating my time. They did cook a little bit long, but as you can see, they are nice and fluffy. I try to not make them bigger than my spatula. That is a tip for you. If you have trouble flipping your pancakes, just try to keep in mind how big your spatula is. That's when you get in trouble, when you make these like big as your face pancakes and your spatula is like this big. That's when they start falling apart, but you guys can see they're pretty dense. They don't fall apart too easy, which is why I love them. They're super simple. Again, it's really just mash the bananas, measure the rest of the stuff, and stir. So hopefully this is something, I'm trying to do this without getting dirty. Behind the scenes, when I do my meal prepping and recipe testing, oh my gosh, you guys, you should see this place. Dave's always laughing at me. It's like a tornado went through here. We actually had a cooking catering company for a while, and we would cook really late in the middle of the night so that we would have fresh food for our clients the next morning. And we would get done all of our, all the meals and everything, and then we would turn around and Dave's like, that was your section. And it's just like mess everywhere. So these are going to cook for another 2 or 3 minutes. The way that I tell with these, they'll start to get to the point where when you push on them, they're really firm on both sides. That's how I can tell if they're done. But again, another 2 or 3 minutes is fine. If you want to alter this recipe at all, you could change the spices that you put in it. You could add some cocoa powder like we did yesterday to make them chocolate. You may want to add like a tablespoon or 2 of applesauce if you do that, because the batter may not come out the way you want it to, but you just essentially stir, 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 and then scoop, cook, devour. Peanut butter is the bomb on these, just in case you're wondering. If you found this helpful, I would love for you to join us in our Bites of Wellness Facebook community. It is a place there. If you're watching this right now, you belong there. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We're going to do lots of healthy recipes and work through what I can do to help you on your journey, finding other people that have a similar mindset. I know for me personally, one of the things I struggled with the most when I first started getting healthy was that I felt like I was the only friend in my group of people that I hung out with regularly that cared about eating well. And so I didn't really have a platform to bounce ideas off of or anything like that. That is what this community is going to be for you. So I'm going to leave a link. Join our community. I'd love to see you in there. We can talk about recipes and all that stuff, anything you want to talk about. I hope that this was helpful. I will make sure that you get a link to our community as well. And if you love this, share it. Have a good one, y'all.